Hello and welcome to the Movie Power Rankings show. I'm your host, Gabriel Alexander, and with me today, as always, is Mike Romick. Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm good. Glad to be doing the podcast again here. It's been, I think, 2 weeks, a little over, so.
Yeah. Sadly, not a lot of movies out there that are, I think we were talking back in the old days. I mean, you got past that first week of May, and, every week was 2 or 3 things that were, worth discussing. And, of course, now, they're lucky. We have, one major blockbuster, a week, and they skip some weeks, and just, well, we do the best we can. We'll fill it up with lots of information.
Yep. Yeah, we got a couple movies to review and stuff. So, but today we started out with some music. Mike, you got a guess on the music today?
I do so badly on this, and I'm usually pretty good at that. So no, it sounded familiar, but I can't say. What is it? Not Top Gun.
Yes.
It is Top Gun?
Yeah, from the original.
Well, I get credit for that then. I get that. I get credit.
You did. You guessed it before I gave the answer, so I'll accept. Yes. From Top Gun, from the 86 Top Gun.
Right.
So, yeah, that's from the soundtrack. Not a major composer. It was he did a couple other songs on the soundtrack, so. But that was, the more, I guess, besides the songs from that movie, that's the music I think of when you think of that Top Gun movie from the 80s, so.
Yeah, because there's all those songs that were, very successful, and that's what, a lot of people remember are the songs, because, the flying put together with those songs. Yeah.
So, that'll be later in the show. We'll do a preview for Top Gun, which is coming out this weekend, this coming Memorial Day weekend in May of 22, so. But first, we're going to hit any errors and omissions from our last show, which was our review. We reviewed a few movies, Doctor Strange 2 and The Duke, Mike, you reviewed. So, actually, you did send me the thing that we were going to correct from last week, which was a correction.
Correcting the correction. And I will do it because I said you were wrong. No, you said one thing, then I said you were wrong. And now I found out, sadly, I hate to admit it, you were kind of right. Not completely right. But The Gray Man, the Ryan Reynolds $200 million thing that, I said was going to Netflix, which is true. But they are supposedly releasing it in limited places for 1 week before it goes to Netflix. Now, none of the chains will carry it, like they wouldn't carry The Irishman or any of the different things that they put out there. So you have to have some independent, cinema, movie theater that does that. In Cleveland, it's like the Cleveland Cinemas does that. The Capitol, the Cedar Lee. So I'm on their website, and it doesn't say it's coming, so I don't know if they're not going to play it or because it's due any time now, as far as I know, on Netflix. But it is supposed to play in limited release for 1 week before Netflix. So we're going to give you a correction of the correction, and I stand corrected, and let's move on because I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I know, because I'm a little more confused now because I'm like, the July 15th date, is that the day it goes on Netflix, or is that the day it's going to go in the theaters, and then a week later it'll be like July 22nd or something, which would be going to Netflix.
I hate to go out on a limb, but I think, we're not etched in stone, July 15th is the Netflix day, and then the week earlier is the theater, but I could be wrong. I mean, who knows? Things change at the drop of a hat with poor Netflix crying poor now that they've lost all these, people, and so we'll see.
Yeah, but the stock price has tanked. I think I heard it tanked 70% the other day. So.
Oh my God, I hadn't heard that.
That's not good. Yeah. Well, who knows? Okay, so moving on from the Gray Man, correction of the correction, and correction, we'll probably have it next week. So, we're going to get into some reviews then today, and Mike and I have a couple of movies we caught between when we saw Doctor Strange 2 and The Duke. We caught a couple others from May, and then I caught one from earlier in the year, which we've yet to discuss on the show, so I'll get a quick review of that. And so the 4 movies we have for today are Operation Mincemeat, which is a Netflix release in May. We have Firestarter we're going to review, which is a horror in a genre release the second weekend in May, and was also released on the Peacock streaming app. This is where I caught it. Mike, you caught Downton Abbey, so you're going to give us our Downton Abbey A New Era review. And
Yep.
And then the movie from earlier in the year that I mentioned is Scream from January of 2022. That would be like the 5th movie in that series. And so I caught that as well. So we'll do a quick just catch up on that movie. So
was Scream on Paramount? What was Scream on that you saw it?
Scream was on Paramount. I watched it on Paramount. Yeah. So let's kick it off. I'm gonna do one, and then I'll throw it to you, Mike. Since I've got 3 to do to your
sure.
one.
Okay.
I'll start with Operation Mincemeat.
Okay.
Didn't really hear much about this movie. I just saw it pop up on Netflix really when I was looking for things to download to watch, and so I just gave it a download to see what it was like, and I saw it starred Colin Firth and Matthew McFadden from the HBO show Succession. It's also starred Kelly MacDonald, which I think she did the voice in Brave. So it's the Operation Mincemeat is about a espionage plot by the British to kind of fool the German intelligence into thinking where they're trying to throw them off as far as where they're going to invade in Europe somewhere. So I think the plan was they wanted to invade in Sicily, and the Germans were wise to that, and they were figuring on a Sicily invasion. So these British intelligence officers, they come up with this plan to, they get a corpse out of the morgue of kind of like a John Doe, and they start to make him up as a British, spy, and then plant papers on him and things, and just dump him offshore, and the plan is to have the Germans, or actually the Spanish, discover him, and then they would then alert the Nazis, the Germans, to where what the body had on it, and they had the papers. So that's kind of the beginning setup of the plot, and so it's based on a real life event, and the cast was good. This is a good, nice little historical drama, somewhat forgettable, but also worth your time if you are a fan of like a historical kind of World War II era movie, with a good cast. Jason Isaacs, I mean, he's in this as a small role, and I could watch him in anything, and I guess I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it to you, Mike. I think you would like this. And like I said, anyone who likes a kind of a drama, historical drama based on a true story, it's worth checking out on Netflix. So,
well, and I'm a big fan of the original movie, which was called The Man Who Never Was, from mid-50s, and it's Clifton Webb and Dana Winter, and one of the pretty early CinemaScope picture, and it's like, it's like a really widescreen. And, it follows that story very carefully, which again was not, common knowledge until well after the war. And, again, I've seen the movie several times. I own it, and it's a wonderful movie. I mean, it's a terrific story, and that it's true is all the more amazing. And I definitely will see Operation Mincemeat simply because I'm a fan of the original and see how they, whether they updated or changed things that they may not have done in the original movie. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, The Man Who Never Was from 1956, directed by Ronald Neame, and it's in order to fool the Germans, the Allies, into thinking they're invading Sicily will take place, it's actually Greece. So they convince them try to convince them that it's going to take place somewhere else. So. So that was The Man Who Never Was, and then Operation Mincemeat was the one from this year, sort of a update on that. And so, all right, Mike, let me throw it to you then, and let's get your thoughts on the Downton Abbey movie.
Yeah, now I know there's people that wouldn't go near Downton Abbey with a stick. You sort of have to be older, and like I said, I've seen all 6 seasons. I love them, seen them more than once, and I own them. And then I saw, Downton Abbey, the motion picture. Of course, I went and there were older people cosplaying, which was unbelievable to me. But and then before the new one, the Downton Abbey: A New Era, I will rewatch the other one. And again, it's it's fine. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie, but again, it's the people. I mean, even the people who are sort of like a pain in the butt. They're wonderful to watch. I mean, and of course it's Maggie Smith beyond belief. I mean, when she's not on the screen, you want to know where she's at and what is she up to. I mean, she's just devastating. The whole cast is great. I mean, I like everybody, and it's enjoyable, and just plopping into this period, and everything is immaculate as far as the houses and the costumes and all, and they have all these technical people that make everything just so, and they have these big dinner scenes, which everybody, particularly Maggie Smith, gripes about because they'll have a dinner scene that might take less than 5 minutes on the screen, and they would work on it for a week, and they said it was just agony, and she has commented on this made her probably very rich and very famous, and she said she used to be able to go to the store, but after Downton Abbey she couldn't go to the store anymore. So anyway, so I was looking forward to a new era, and it's very good. I mean. I would say it's probably a little better than the motion picture, the first one. I mean, it's kind of 2 things going on at once. One, there's a sort of a mystery that a gentleman from violent Maggie Smith's past has left her this villa in France, and part of the family goes there. Not her, strangely enough. And then the rest of the family stays back at Downton Abbey, where they're filming a silent movie, which sort of, sound is coming in. And so it becomes sort of like a singing in the rain type of thing with, people with voice issues and all that. But again, it was great to see all the people. Everybody came back, except for one. Matthew Good is mysteriously, in the first one, has a teeny little part, and this one is missing altogether. He's off racing or something. So I don't know if he was working elsewhere and couldn't get the money for him or whatever. But other than him, I didn't see anybody else that was missing, but they talked about it. But no, it was very enjoyable, and the production sumptuous, and it did very good business. Particularly, it opened a little earlier in England and stuff, and did great. And without giving anything away, there's weddings, there's funerals, there's things that happen that think there's going to be big changes if they move on past this into this new era, so to speak. And I would go, but whether they need to or not, it's hard to say. But again, it's you certainly can't walk into that without knowing the relationships of these people from, 6 years, 6 seasons on PBS. And so, like I said, if you're a Downton Abbey fan, I don't need to tell you to go, you're going to be there. And it was an older audience, let's say, which is terrific. I mean, there's not a whole lot out there that gets released for an older audience because they're so afraid that, they're not going to come because of COVID. But, they did come. Maybe Doctor Strange still beat it, but I think the first opening weekend was 16 million or something, and you get a foreign release, and so it's a good deal. And if they go on, fine. If they don't, there's a conclusion to it. They don't need to go on. There's no kind of a cliffhanger type thing here. So, but like I said, I'm a fan, so I was there.
And I remember did you say there were people dressed up as the characters for the first movie when you saw it in the theaters?
The first one. The first one, we went opening night, and, well, pre-COVID, of course. And there was, it was such a mess up. They had just gone to assigned seating. And a lot of people, this older crowd, had not been to movies where you had assigned seating. Well, I guess they didn't anticipate the crowd they had. So they moved it from a smaller auditorium to a bigger auditorium. And then people had, gone online and got tickets. So you had people that had the same seat numbers because they were in a different auditorium, and oh my God, it was a nightmare. And then you had people coming in dressed as, Mrs. Padmore, the head cook, and you had the butler, and these different people dressed, and I was like, I didn't see that coming. But yeah, there was not that at the second one, but that was during the first showing of the first one. I mean, the first showing there were people like myself, we're going to be there for that because we had waited, I don't know, 2.5 years for that. So. And like I said, it's you have to appreciate it. If you don't, you're not going near it. If I don't think you're going near it. But again, I would have missed it.
All right. Well, there's our take on Downton Abbey: A New Era, which came out in May, the third weekend in May here. So, all right. Well, let me get to my next one, which is the Firestarter remake, reboot. Yeah.
Now, had you seen the original a long time ago or just recently? I don't remember when you had seen the original with George C. Scott and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, it had been a long time. And I watched a little bit of it on that Peacock has it on there, the 1984, I think, Firestarter. And, no, it looks pretty cheesy. I mean, that one looked pretty bad. And
special effects wise, or how do you mean?
I mean, it just dated. You could tell this was an 80s movie.
Yeah.
The hairs, the clothes, the kit. I mean, and then the delivery of the lines and things in that movie, and Drew Barrymore. I mean, I just didn't, she's a child, but still, it's just not.
Well, look how wonderful she was in E.T., but she had Steven Spielberg there.
Yeah.
Who's the director of the original Firestarter? Anyone of consequence?
Let me see here. It should be right here.
Because I remember I saw it and I thought it was okay, but I had no memory of it all. It was in George C. Scott.
No, I remember it was John Carpenter was going to direct the 84 Firestarter, but it ended up being Mark L. Lester is what IMDb is telling me.
I wonder. I think that he is not the Mark Lester that was the child actor that was Oscar nominated for Oliver. No, he wasn't nominated for Oliver. He was Oliver. It was the other kid that was nominated that played his friend. But I think that's a different person, but I could be wrong there. We'll have to do that on corrections. But like I said, I had, that was when, Stephen King, not that he doesn't publish lots of books now, but then he would sometimes he would have 2 or more books a year, and almost so many were adapted to movies. And, we had The Shining that was a big hit, and, Carrie and different things. And so then you had, whether he had an original or I think it was an original, like Creepshow and based on short stories. And then you had, Bing Bang Bong. He wrote it, they bought it for the movies, and they were coming out, and some of them were good, and some of them were not so good, and some of them were pretty terrible. So like I said, my memory of it was dim, other than I thought it was okay. But again, George C. Scott, and I was not, I tried to see George C. Scott, and, he made some crappy movies, but he was all pretty watchable to me. But so you watched only part of the original?
Yeah, I just watched like a scene or two out of the original. I don't know if I'll be tempted to go back and finish it. Because it was kind of setting me up for what might be one of the worst movies I've seen this year so far, which is Firestarter in 2022.
And that's Zac Efron, and is the director anyone that we would recognize?
No, the director is Keith Thomas. which doesn't really ring a bell.
Yeah.
I could look him up, but not really good.
But who is the girl? Anyone we know from anything else?
No, I think it might have been her first role.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let me see here. Maybe
even the
technicals
TV.
were. She's done some TV before this.
Oh, okay.
But
so
yeah,
even the technicals were poor in the new one?
Excuse me, what was that?
Even the technicals were poor in the new one?
Some of them were okay, but some of it was not good, and it's more just I don't know. I heard someone said Zac Efron better call his agent because he needs a new agent or something because he really shouldn't be doing this. This could have been a no-name actor in here, and it may have saved some money instead of paying him because it's just really I don't even know if I could recommend this as an October appropriate watch. I'll say some good things about it. It's short. It's only like an hour and a half. And John Carpenter does do the music. He does the score. Yeah, he does the score to it, and the score is classic Carpenter. And
wow.
No, I mean it's good. The score is good. It's just too bad we don't have much better a movie to go along with it.
When we talked about it earlier, didn't you say that they had done some things where, that there was mind reading and telekinesis and stuff?
Yes.
In other words, sort of combining some elements from other Stephen Kings and also particularly.
I don't know because I don't know if I want to go into spoilers on this because that would be a little spoilerish on this because I really hadn't heard anything because you assume the girl can just do the fire starting.
Right.
I'll just say there's a little bit more to it, and I'll say that the parents also have something to do with it, where, like you kind of alluded to, they have powers. And the weird thing I said was that not only does she have these fire starting powers, she also has like the powers of her parents, and it just seems like a little too much, but it's just kind of a mess of a movie. I don't know how else to better explain it. It just seemed like a mess to me. It seemed like there's probably a lot cut out, which is probably a good thing. Special effects, there's some decent kills in this, but it kind of is, there's only one way they're really going is because she's a fire starter. So, that's really the one thing. There's a, government agency or whatever that's after them. That's basically the whole movie. The whole movie's like a chase. The end, the climax. I mean, I saw it as maybe trying to be a little bit like Stranger Things, trying to capture kind of that, kind of genre, kind of like a throwback horror type thing, but, no, it just didn't work. I don't think it's working for many people. I think this is going to be just forgotten about,
Except on some viewers, because the reviews pretty much agreed with you on this.
Yeah, I mean, there's things to like in it. If you're a diehard horror fan who's going to see pretty much anything, which I do for the most part, they're going to see this anyways. Who knows? I mean, you never know with time. It may get a better reputation, but I doubt it. I wouldn't think it's going to kind of hold up later on and people discover this years from now and think it's,
could it be a camp class? Is there enough craziness that it could be a camp classic?
No, there's no campiness to this. It plays it pretty straight. It plays it pretty intense. It tries to be intense. So, yeah, there's no camp factor at all. I mean,
so it's not going to be Plan 9 from outer space.
No, it's not going to be like that. I mean, maybe people like it down the road and say it's like a hidden gem, but I wouldn't think so. I don't think that'll happen.
Okay.
Just think, this is going to be, this is just filling that weekend after Doctor Strange to basically not compete with anything and not trying to siphon off some horror fans to go see it. But no, not worth your time. Not unless you're just a diehard horror person. So, or a huge Stephen King.
Something a little more positive we have.
I don't know, because I don't know if Scream, now my review of Scream is up next, and I don't know if I can be any more positive about that. The Scream...
Is it a remake, a sequel, a prequel? What the heck is it? I had no idea. I couldn't tell.
And neither do I, Mike, even after watching it. I mean, and that's kind of the point of it. The movie is, is it a remake? Is it a reboot? They call it like a requel in the movie, which is like a reboot sequel, a requel. So that term may have been just started by this movie. And, it's basically a remake of the first movie, where you have a group of young kids and they're all getting killed off and you don't know, is it one of them? Which kid is it? Or is it two kids like it was in the first one? So, we get the Halloween and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre effect here, where you got, actors from the original showing up with like Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox and David Arquette are all in this. So you've now brought back the cast from the original, and now you're doing this requel by basically retelling the story, but with these, the legacy characters, doing new roles, and I don't know. Again, I see why it came out in January of this year. We usually
do you think the intention was funny, scary, a combination of the two?
Oh, yeah, definitely a combination. I mean, it is a little entertaining. I mean, it has some, funny things. It has some, slasher stuff, slasher scenes, gores and kills. So you're going to get that. You're going to get, like, the banner between the characters, which is kind of funny. And, and the mystery around it is, like, who is the killer, too. So, lots of throwbacks, lots of meta things, very meta. Like, there's a franchise in the movie world where someone, I think it's the Courtney Cox's character, has taken the story and made it into her own, like, horror series of films. And so those are referenced in the film. Lots of callbacks to, like, don't say, like, I'll be right back in a horror movie, which, usually means you're going to get it, or it's like, look behind you, the killer's right there, I mean, some of the scenes are memorable, some of it is entertaining. I'd say it's definitely more watchable than the Firestarter, remake. So
did they set it up to a sequel?
Oh yeah, I mean, this can keep going. So, and this is like the 5th Scream that we have, because I think the last one came out, almost a decade ago. So,
wow,
this is a attempt to get it back. So, but I'm looking at the series on IMDb, and the highest rated one is the original, and it just goes down from there.
Like the Halloweens up until the recent reboot.
Yeah. So,
right.
So yeah, that's what's that?
What's your next movie?
That is it. Those were the 4. We reviewed the 4 that we were going to do today. So.
Oh, okay. I thought you had another.
Nope. I I did Operation Mincemeat and Firestarter and Scream, and you did Downton Abbey. So
yeah, I'm ashamed I missed the bad guys, but hopefully it will be streaming soon enough and we can do that one. And then I really wanted to see Men, and oh my God, the word of mouth was absolutely god awful. The reviews were terrible, and he's sort of, Alex Garland is sort of, if I won't say a critic's darling, but he's usually favorably reviewed, and not that one. And, I like cast, and, it sounded interesting, but everybody just said it was just awful and unpleasant, and I didn't go. Even for free, I didn't go. But we'll probably catch it maybe in October.
Yeah, I know. I guess we were both kind of excited for it, and then after it came out, some of the reviews just weren't very favorable to that.
Yeah, I didn't read a single favorable review for it. I mean, the people said something about the elements of it, but in general, no. Now, the elephant in the room is Top Gun sequel. Opening, Friday, but it's actually opening Thursday night. They're having all those screenings. Yeah. Everybody said watch it on the biggest screen, and it had a 7-minute standing ovation at Cannes, and Tom Cruise was there, and all the reviews I've read have, there's a little sniping at the script, but in general, they said technically it's dazzling and exciting, and, they're hoping for big things to be the number one movie of the pandemic, post-pandemic period, however you want to call it, but, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I liked the first one. It was sort of like military porn, everything shiny and all that. But, I enjoyed it. I mean, not a great movie, but certainly enjoyable and worth watching. I don't know if I'm going to have time to watch it again. I've read, just today I read Leonard Maltin. He said, you don't need to watch the other one again. You'll get it. Whatever you need to know, they'll explain it to you in a number of years. But, no, I'm looking forward to seeing it on the big screen and going this weekend. So we'll definitely be discussing it on the next show. What do you think? What did you think of the first one, and what do you hope for the second one?
First one, it's not exactly guilty pleasure. I think I kind of agree with you a little bit that it's kind of like a commercial for the Navy,
Yeah.
But, and this one probably is as well, but, I guess, I will rewatch the, first one from, the 80s, and, I kind of remember it a little fondly. It's for my generation, I guess it's kind of like, one of those big blockbuster kind of movies that everyone kind of likes. Like Spawn, like the video, like it was probably like a Nintendo game for Top Gun. And, definitely, for this one, for the Top Gun Maverick, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better weekend for Memorial Day. And there's good timing there. It has been pushed, back from, because of the pandemic. But, I mean, I guess that was a good sign that it had a good response at Cannes and that most people seem to be enjoying it. So, I'll look forward to seeing it. I don't know if I'll do it in theaters here. I think I might be able to wait, but, in spirit, I'll, if you see this one, I'll watch the old one, and, I think I even have it on, 3D, so maybe I'll watch it in 3D. Yeah.
Now, a couple of months ago, I'm not going to say which channel, but they used to have, specials where they would talk about the making of a Jaws or something, and they had a 2-hour making of Top Gun. And I DVR'd it, but then, it got pulled, 2 or 3 times it was pulled this release date. So I waited, and then we watched it last week. I had no idea the nightmare it was to make. I mean, as far as casting and script, and it was, and the studio had no faith in it, and the music, and it was just, you kind of remember it as being, oh my God, this would be, Paramount, hot diggity, what a big hit we have on our hands, and that was not the case until it opened. And then the reviews were, I won't say terrible, but they certainly weren't. They were mixed at best. And, now, of course, it's remembered quite fondly and all, huge hit, but again, the birthing of Top Gun, the first one, was very difficult. And if you ever get a chance to see that, I don't know, maybe it's a making of on something, but again, it was fascinating. And conspicuous by their absence was Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise. They were not involved in this making of, which is, I think that'd be sort of important. And of course, and of course not Val Kilmer, but who of course is in this Top Gun Maverick. But again, with his physical problems, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. Did you ever catch that documentary about him, Val?
No, I didn't. My sister watched it. She said it was very good, and you had said it was very good, but I did not have a chance.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, not great or anything, but interesting.
That he was filming, most of his life. I mean, just who knew?
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, and it's kind of sad now where he's at too. It's
right.
It's a little bit sad, but I'm glad they got him into this because
right.
Yeah, he's from the original, and that's what they do now. We were just talking about it with Scream, is you bring back that original cast. So yeah,
and you get a pull for those people that remember the original one with great fondness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'll be our next show. We'll get your thoughts on Top Gun Maverick, and then I'll do the Top Gun, the rewatch of Top Gun.
Okay.
So.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I think they're giving the weekend just to Top Gun. I don't even think.
No, we have Bob's Burgers this weekend too. Which,
Bob's Burgers, you're right. Now you think that's going to be a big hit. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I've never seen the show.
Now, I'm not going to say it's going to win the weekend. I mean,
no.
I'll give you my prediction, and we'll get yours. I'll say Top Gun's going to win the weekend, but I'm going to say Bob's Burgers might be number 2, and it might be Doctor Strange. Because I would say Doctor Strange number 3. So, but I think what Bob's Burgers, the opportunity for that is there's no major release next weekend, and that when with that Bad Guys, you're seeing the box office kind of stay with that. It's because those are the kids movies, and there's not much as far as animated kids movies out there, so those are going to have legs, those movies, and Bob's Burgers is going to it's going to hang around all summer, all of June. It's going to be making money, and it's only Lightyear is when it comes, Lightyear's later on in June. So Bob's Burgers is going to grab all of that kids audience. We used to work at theaters, Mike. The kids come for those early shows, and Bob's Burgers is going to get a lot of that kind of early show business out of the kids, especially when they're out of school here coming up.
Now, do you see Bob's Burgers as a kids like a competition for like Lightyear or Despicable Me or whatever, called the Minions movie, whatever it is?
I think it's a little bit more grown up, but that means that the parents are going to be more willing to go to see this. Because I think a lot of kids do still watch Bob's Burgers. It's a pretty safe show, like a family-friendly show to watch. So I think, more kids will probably watch it than you would think.
Well, again, that would be news to me. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do terrible, but, I think some of the audience of a slightly older audience, if given the choice, they're going to go over to Top Gun, which if you've seen the screenings, I think it runs 2 hours and 11 minutes or something like that, a little over 2 hours. I mean, it's playing every 15 minutes on upteen screens, and then Bob Burgers, has some. But again, I think if somebody's taking their 8 or 10-year-old, do you want to see Top Gun or Bob's Burgers? They're going to go to Top Gun.
Okay. We'll see. So let's get your top 3 of the box office this weekend then.
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be because also Top Gun is going to take away from Doctor Strange. So I think it's going to be one will be Top Gun, of course, gotten some phenomenal number, I'm sure. And then I think it will be Bob's Burgers because it's new. And then you're going to have Doctor Strange and then Downton Abbey. But again, the Downton Abbey people are not necessarily, that is a different audience from Top Gun and Doctor Strange. But again, whether the old people are going to be scared away from, the massive crowds with Top Gun, because it's true. I mean, and, it's so funny when we went to the Regal to see the Downton Abbey. They used to have a big box office out front with a glass window, and you went there. They've taken that away at the the Regal Cobblestone, which I know you know, and they put the screens that you do it yourself and there for people to come up because, you have been going up to the concession stand to do it. You can still do that. But again, if you've done it online, you just want to do it with credit card, you can do it there yourself and not have to wait in line at concession, which again will be good at the Crocker Park because that's a nightmare. But I was stunned because that's that box office has essentially been nothing for even before the pandemic. They had moved that, and of course it was a really good idea for concession because you're there already and they ask you want something and you can get something. You don't have to wait in line twice. Well, it meant waiting in long lines, particularly on the weekend, which I wasn't going on the weekend, particularly on the pandemic, so that wasn't an issue. We're going in the afternoon when it's slow, but again, it's that was quite surprising. And of course, it's heavily unlimited. I don't think I can do that through that machine, or other than if I paid online, earlier. And I don't know if tickets spit out or it goes on your phone, or like I said, I didn't do it. So I just go to the concession stand and show my phone, and bing bang bong, they give me a ticket. But I was surprised that they had, after years of that being, empty and not displaying showtimes. Now it at least displays showtimes, because when you would go up to the box office, you would not have, when you get your tickets at concession, you wouldn't have see the showtimes. And another thing, and I even asked an employee, they've taken all the numbers of the auditoriums down. You have no idea where you're going. There used to be lit, not working. Then they used to have paper on a little sign that would say the Cinema 11 or whatever it was. They've replaced those with like an ad for popcorn or something. And there's nothing. You have no idea until you get your ticket, and they'll tell you, third auditorium on the left, down that way. And it's like, I hope you remember, because I've been there, I want to say 1,000 times, but approaching that. And still, I know the numbers for the first several. But then I go, when I get down at the end, well, does it jump over to the left, or does it jump over to the right? And you have no idea where you're going. I mean, and I asked someone, why did they do that? Had no answer for me. Unless they're afraid people are jumping auditoriums or whatever. Well, yeah, because they certainly aren't going to be doormen or, God knows, I remember the days when they had ushers out there, prowling so you don't, you're not jumping the screens.
Yeah.
Took away the numbers.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I think when we went to Doctor Strange, it just had the title, like, on the crawl above the, door and, like, the time of the movie, I think. I don't think it had the theater number up there.
All gone. All gone.
Huh.
I mean, at least at the Cobblestone it was. I haven't been to Crocker Park since we went to the Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little news and notes time, Mike. We got a little time left. So, any news and notes you want to cover? I just have some trailers maybe I can talk about. But what do you got?
What about 3,000 Years of Longing? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw on YouTube. It just had like 30-second clips. Did you see a full trailer for that?
Oh yeah, the full trailer was at the movie theater, and I saw it online too. Definitely with your type. Tilda Swinton, Idris Elba, and he's a genie, and she gets 3 wishes, and it's George Miller, his first movie since Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm there. Played at Con, had a very good response, and it's, sort of meta, where she goes, if you've ever seen or read a story about, 3 wishes, it's always a cautionary tale. It never works out well.
Right.
I can't wait. I mean, not only do I like George Miller, who, many years in between stuff, but again, it's like, it looked appealing to me. And again, those two can read the phone book and it would be great. But, no, get a chance to go look up that full trailer. It looks really good.
Yeah.
You see any new trailers that appeal to you?
Well, we got, did you see the Mission Impossible trailer?
Yes, they go to Venice. I'm excited. Yeah. Now, okay, I just realized they moved it again. Now, I've lost track of how many times they've done this, but as of this stage, subject to change, the Mission Impossible, what is it called?
Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Dead Reckoning Part 1 is opening July, I believe, 23rd or something like that, of 2023. And then the sequel, which is, supposedly the last Mission Impossible, is opening Christmas of 2023, so it'll be 6 months apart. Again, that was always the idea that they would do that, but of course it keeps pushing back. Now, to my knowledge, the part one is the one where he jumps off the mountain. It's supposed to be devastating. But again, that is the preview they're showing is part one. Looks great. Globetrotting, good, great cast. Vanessa Kirby, oh my God, bring her out. And, no, it looks amazing. And, they go to Venice and, in addition to any number of other places. But, no, it looked good to me. How'd it look to you?
I liked it. I thought it looked good, and they show that stunt where he's jumping off the mountain in the trailer,
which is good. I don't want to see a whole lot.
Yeah, and no, I'm gonna see that. I mean, that's
the last Mission Impossible was the best. I thought it was great. I've seen it 3 times.
Yeah.
Bought it.
So I also another trailer that dropped was a new Thor Love and Thunder trailer.
Another one? I don't think I've seen that. How it looked? I didn't like the first trailer. I thought it looked cheesy.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna like this one any better. I mean, I'm starting to have a little bit of doubts about it. We get our look at Christian Bale as the villain in this.
Yes, I saw pictures right
yeah, I mean, he looks kind of interesting, but I just don't know about it yet. I don't know. Looks cool, but I don't know. This could be iffy. I think it could be an iffy on this one. So we'll see. I mean, I'll still see it.
Of course you will. You'll buy it.
Buy it. I'd buy it sight unseen.
I have a quick question off that topic. Is Amber Heard in the new Aquaman?
Well, now I'm hearing she's being removed from the movie. First it was they were going to cut back her storyline.
Okay.
Now I heard being removed entirely from the movie. I've also heard a story where she does not have Warner Brothers was concerned about the chemistry between her and Jason Momoa. And I also now just saw something where Johnny Depp kind of used his power and influence to get her that role in the first place.
Initially, wow.
Did you hear anything else besides that? I mean,
no. Of course, other than I don't want to hear anything more about that trial. It's just I wanted to take a shower every time I read something about it. I'm done with that. Yeah, they were both screwy. I mean, happy day. Move on. I don't want to hear anymore.
Yeah. Well, that trial is, all over YouTube, and it's like
you can't
a distraction for a lot of people.
Yeah. Don't have to
Schadenfreude
and school shootings and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah. The school. I don't even want to get into it. No, but some Schadenfreude there, Mike, of people taking pleasure in the misery of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So, as a distraction from all this other madness going on.
I still don't think he's going to have to worry about even though he won't be working, his next meal is paid for. I mean, he was getting, $20 million a movie. He's doing all right.
No, they'll both.
Amber, not so much. I mean, she was sort of a name, but never what you'd call a star. She never had a part that sort of put her over the top. And, you think of Aquaman, which I try not to. I know you loved it. I did not. But again, I think of Jason Momoa, who was great. I mean, not his fault that the movie looked bad plot, bad acting. It's not his fault. But.
Yeah. So, all right, well, let's move on from that. There was also we started the show with it, and I guess we'll end with the show with it, there was a new trailer for The Gray Man. Did you see that one, Mike?
No. I saw that it dropped, but I did not see it. Because I was still upset that I was wrong about it.
Yeah. Well, no, it looks good. Lots of action, looks like.
Well, but, is it going to be another, was it Red Notice, which I remember you were not that crazy about? Is that Red Notice?
Yeah, but I think this is taking itself a little more serious. Red Notice was trying to be more of an action comedy a little bit. And again, just that movie did not work. And it was also like a heist movie. It was trying to do a lot of things, and
none of them too successfully, according to you.
None was executed all that well. So no. The Gray Man looks good. I mean, that's from the Russo brothers are directing. Ryan Gosling is in it. Looks like Chris Evans is the bad guy. And, I mean, I'll watch it on Netflix when it drops on Netflix. I'm not going to go see it in the theater, but, no, I'll watch it in July, So.
Yeah. I'll watch that, and then, hopefully you'll dip your toe in the waters first and let me know, because you shied me off of Red Notice, even though, it's a huge hit on Netflix. But again, that big cast, and, you get all those people and sign them for, big bucks, and then nobody bothered to read the script. I mean,
No, I saved you from seeing Red Notice. It's not. And that Adam Project, too, on Netflix, just wasn't very good. I mean, that got a better response, but it still was not very good. So hopefully Netflix maybe gets a turnaround with this Gray Man. So.
Well, again, as long as they get people to sign up to watch the big stars, are they concerned with the quality of it? I think not.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
I mean, they'd like it to be good, but is that necessary? Or, are people, signing up because of the stars and the big action movie that they spent $200 million on? I mean, and that's what they spent on Irishman. I mean, my God.
Yeah. Ray Liotta passed away today.
Yes, I saw that. And he wasn't that old, and I don't think they gave a cause of death. They said New York Times said the full obituary was coming. But, now, did you ever see Something Wild?
No.
With Jonathan Demme,
no.
Jeff Daniels, Melanie Griffith.
I know it's a Criterion, I believe. I think it's a Criterion.
Right. Now,
no, I don't think I own it, and I don't think I've seen it. No.
I'm going to have to get that for you, because I have a DVD that's not a Criterion. God knows probably nothing on it. But Jonathan Demme did quite a few commentaries. I'll have to check if he does it on that. He probably does it on the Criterion. But anyway, and I was not a big Jonathan Demme fan. I liked some of his stuff, and I liked Something Wild, and I liked Melvin and Howard. I'm not a Flowers and Lamb fan. But Jeff Daniels is sort of the innocent dupe. Melanie Griffith is the kind of femme fatale. Is she good? Is she bad? Whatever. And then Ray Liotta, her ex-husband, and, oh my God, he is just the devil incarnate, and you just you're worried about him. Whenever he's not on the screen, you worry. And again, he's terrific. And he did a number of wonderful performances. Field of Dreams. He has that great line about Ty Cobb. We all hated him. We didn't like him. And then he was Goodfellas. And I mean, I liked Ray Liotta. I mean, he was sort of higher, earlier in his career. He sort of faded out. But again, I liked him. Shame to see him. Sad to see him go. But that was sad news today. But yeah, give Something Wild a shot. That's a good one. Check out the Criterion, see what the extras are on that. And let's see what else. Con, I guess. What got the big standing ovation? Oh, Elvis. Did you hear about Elvis? The response was tremendous for Elvis. 12 minutes. I guess that somebody sits there with a stopwatch and counts the minutes for the standing ovations. Everybody loved it, and Variety reviewed it. They had a few qualms. They said particularly the slow part, the beginning was sort of familiar, and they said our star was okay, but that once they get into when he gets older, he's great, and the Las Vegas stuff is fantastic. And they didn't like Tom Hanks' fat suit, but they liked him, and because normally Tom Parker, was it Tom Parker? No.
Colonel, it wasn't his name, like Colonel something?
Yeah, he wasn't a colonel. But anyway, the guy that controlled his career. But again, no, I'm interested in seeing it, and I'm not a Buzz Luhrmann fan. I mean, I sort of like Great Gatsby, and I liked early stuff, Strictly Ballroom. Moulin Rouge is like nails on a blackboard to me. And I like Australia. Nobody else did, but I liked it. I mean, Jackman, Nicole Kidman, beautiful, big budget, spectacular Western type thing, and nobody cared for it. Lost buckets of money, but I liked it. And, no, Elvis was very well received, and, as I think you sent me a thing about many walkouts on that new David, Cronenberg movie, and again, what do you think of David Cronenberg?
I like some of his stuff. I like him a lot, yeah.
What do you like and what don't you like?
I like History of Violence. I like Eastern Promises.
Yes.
I like Videodrome.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep. I don't care for Naked Lunch as much.
No. Yeah.
Let me see. Like Scanners? Is that Cronenberg?
I saw that you wanted to go in, other than the head floating on that.
Yeah, I like some David Cronenberg stuff.
Dead Ringers. I think Dead Ringers is wonderful with Jeremy Irons as the twin gynecologist. Oh my God, poor Genevieve Bujold in that one. But no, that's a good one. But again, some of his stuff I just, like you said, Naked Lunch, I'm not a fan of. Videodrome. History Violence I love, but what's a Dangerous Method? I mean, there was a good movie there, but they didn't make it with, I think it's Viggo Mortensen and, the other, it was Sigmund Freud and oh my God.
Yeah. No, I did see that. That wasn't very good, no.
No, that wasn't very good at all. But again, I'm hot and cold, but again, this one, Crash. I never did see Crash, the one about, everybody sexually turned on by auto crashes. I missed that one with Holly Hunter.
Mm-hmm. No, I never saw that. And James Spader. No, I never saw that either.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my cup of tea, so I didn't go to that.
So yeah, this one's called What Crimes of the Future?
Yes.
And it's about
not only
surgery, everyone's getting...
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
You never know. If something has walkouts, you still get a prize. La Ventura had walkouts, and Tree of Life had walkouts, and you still get a prize. But, or a prize. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're coming up on our time, and we just filled that up real nice.
Yeah, no problem. We can keep going. No, I think that's good. Let's wrap it up, Mike. We'll next show talk about Top Gun and anything else we've seen between now and then. And anything you want to touch on before we go?
No, except, we have the Need for Speed, but that'll be the next podcast.
All right. Okay. Well, everyone, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. So enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy Top Gun Maverick. All right, Mike. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.